my message for right now is when somebody calls you in, somebody from your community, somebody that you have relationship with, somebody that you trust, somebody that you believe in, or reflexively, right, or vice versa, that believes in you, that pours into your cup, that wants the best for you, that wants your progress, somebody that you trust and that you're building with, right? It could be friend, it could be partner, it could be colleague, it could be community member, right? When they call you in, listen. xInYaFaceDotCom. So spell it out. Let me spell it one more time. xInYaFaceDotCom. You spell the whole thing out. Rise and love, family. It is I, xInYaFaceDotCom, reporting to you live from the Cow, downtown Salem, my sometimes co-working space that I utilize. I was sitting here in this like sound booth area trying to rap, to be completely honest, trying to freestyle. And I was like, because I went to the restroom and was rapping to myself because I had some beats on in my headphones and I was feeling them. So I was like, oh, let me pull my camera out and see if I can put something together in the little booth over here. It wasn't really coming together, right? As soon as it becomes a performance of sorts and you're thinking too much about what you're saying, I feel like I have a bit of a disconnect and I'm trying to say cool stuff as opposed to just, I guess, speaking from the heart or speaking on whatever topic. And instead, while I've been sitting here considering, right, trying to figure out how to utilize the available time that I have and what I actually have the capacity for, I think it's an appropriate time for me to share a reflection on kind of community, because that's part of, I guess, the theme, part of what I'm focused on in terms of my own personal priorities and my goals for this quarter is very much tied up in community. And instead of talking about the quarterly progress, the planning, that sort of stuff, that's for other content. One of the things that I wanted to share about was to deal with like conflict, I guess, navigating different forms of conflict, different forms of friction in a space in which you are trying to build community and bring people together, right? Anytime you kind of bring people together, there's going to be friction just based on the diversity of the people that you're bringing together. Even if there's, you know, like a main identity that brings people together, there's always going to be difference among one another. And so some of those differences, some of those gripes, concerns, misunderstandings, whatever, is gonna kind of rub up against somebody else's or somebody else in a way that kind of resorts in conflict or friction. And examples of friction just like in the community, in the greater community, that I've seen recently. This morning, as I was on my way to a coffee meetup, I was driving and at a red light, I see two cars going the opposite direction from me, two cars side by side in a lane next to each other. And the people who are in the cars, one from the passenger side of one car and one from the driver's side of the other car, are like gesturing towards each other. But instead of like waving and saying what's up or anything like that, or pointing in a direction, they're like flipping each other off. They're you know, demonstratively upset and sending negative energy. And it almost kind of threw me off because this morning I'm waking up and recovering from yesterday of feeling like my battery is kind of drained, feeling like I'm needing to check on my capacity. And when I see stuff like that, it actually hurts my heart. It makes me feel a way because I hate to see people kind of coming together that way, especially two people who don't necessarily seem to know each other. You know what I mean? But besides them pulling up next to each other, I don't know if somebody cut somebody off in the car or what. Like, I don't know the context, right? But I hate to see that in the community, right? I want to see people come together positively, and even if there's some gripe, some conflict, some friction, that maybe we find a different way to express our feelings, our emotions, and to get what we need from each other, to have folks take accountability, to have space for restoration. But that was one example of just kind of like this weird conflict. Another example of this kind of outward, just right, right, like that's how I'm gonna describe it. Is I was pulling up to get gas a couple of days ago, and right, gas prices, stuff going on in the world, bigger picture stuff, wild, right? So obviously that's one of the ways that everybody is being impacted. But I'm just filling up my gas and taking care of some different errands and stuff like that. And I get out of the car and I hear two people at different gas pumps arguing with each other, like cursing each other out, and then like starting to call each other out, and it escalating to this point where somebody come over here and da 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 da. And I'm like, man, again, my heart, I'm like, why? Like, why are we like this? Why are we getting at each other like this? Why are we, I guess, inviting the challenge of, you know, of more and greater conflict, of a winner and a loser kind of dynamic, of a, you know, you hurt me and so I'm getting my get back, an eye for an eye type of energy. I'm like, it's really hurtful and harmful. And so I think as I relate that to the community, obviously we all share a community together, right? Those people who were cursing each other out at the gas pump theoretically live in the same area with each other, live in this local region together, might see each other at the gas station again, might see each other at, you know, maybe their kids go to school together, maybe, right? Like whatever, same thing with them other people in the car. And so I hope, right, the next time those people see each other or meet each other, it's under better circumstances. But I think about the role that I'm playing as a community member and as a community leader, trying to engage in community building and helping to sustain and bring together and make connection with the different community building efforts that other people are making, right? Like working together and linking people together and supporting one another. And even in the spaces that I'm finding myself in, that I'm either creating or that I'm joining, that I'm walking into, that I'm seeking out, there's still room for conflict and friction, right? And we're still human. We're still the same people who are coming in with our diversity of experiences, identities, all that, beliefs, values, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. And so there's some of that. And there's also the good intentioned negative impacts that land on other people. And so the thing that I wanted to reflect on, the thing that I wanted to highlight real quick was just to say, I very much appreciate that I am developing relationships, like individual relationships with people, and that we are building and co-creating community with each other, where in which when there's stuff that comes up, when there's conflict, when there's feelings that are impacted, when an impact lands in a way that maybe it wasn't intended, or maybe, you know, folks just weren't aware of, right? I try to communicate in this way that's all about love, collaboration, connection, community, empowerment, advocacy, all that sort of stuff. And sometimes I'm a mess up too. And so the thing that I value so much about the community that I'm creating, right, with others, is that I have folks who are in there who can call me in, not call me out, not, hey, you messed up and blah, 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 blah. And that experience being something that feels like I'm being set apart, I'm being pushed out, I'm being put down, right? It's something that's like, hey, this is an important thing to happen, that either I can talk to you one-on-one, or we can create spaces, create opportunities for us to come together as a collective to recognize, identify harm, right? Understand context behind it and what impacts it's really having, take accountability, and then start taking steps to understand what care, reconciliation, restoration looks like moving forward together. And so I just feel so humbled and so thankful to have people within this community that we're building together that are willing and able to do the work of doing that together. Because it does take work, it does take vulnerability, it does take patience, it does take care to allow people to be continuing to develop, right? Our expectation is of people, our expectations of people are that they are, more fully formed, right? Like, hey, when you come into a space, it's like this, and this is what respect looks like, and all that sort of stuff. But if we're accepting each other as developing human beings, we recognize that it's not always gonna meet the expectation. It's not always gonna be what we think it is. It's not always gonna be good. Sometimes it doesn't feel good, and we have to figure out and navigate together how we can move through that, right? Move through that together. And so I'm very, very thankful that I'm building community with others in which we're able to move through this conflict together. And hopefully we're doing stuff as we're building, as the individuals, as the leaders, as the followers, as the supports, as the teammates, that has enough of a positive impact that it actually ripples outward. So even the smaller micro communities that I'm building, and I'm trying to participate in building out and supporting and sustaining, I really want them to be linked in and have positive impacts through integration with greater community and other micro communities, and make greater connection, because we all living here together. You know what I mean? We living in this region together. We living in this state together. We're living in this country together. We're living in this world together. We are all connected. And so the more we're able to recognize the connection, respect the connection, feed the connection, right? The more we want that to thrive, the more we're going to be able to rise up together as a people, as civilization, as society, as human beings on the planet, and not in terms of a supremacy, but it is allowing us to continue to rise and to grow and to develop as all of our constituent parts, right? As the individuals and all of those communities that make us up into this grander, greater community together. So I'm hoping that translated, right? That reflection translates in a way that lands, that clarifies to folks what my mission is, what my goals are, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish. And I look forward to continuing to develop. And I wrote something, it would be a dope quote to put in here, but I aspire to be the community member who heeds the call to lead and to follow, and to facilitate others in their leadership and their followership. And I welcome you along for the journey of developing these communities, to help give me game, to maybe learn something of your own, to work together to develop additional communities. So until next time, thank you for rocking with me. Make sure you check in with the other work that I'm doing on these different platforms. Check the website, wholelotofenterprises.com or xInYaFaceDotCom. They lead to the same place. And if you're really interested to support the different things that I'm doing with my business and with my community building efforts, one of the best ways that you can do that is by signing up for one of my plans on Patreon. Even just signing up for Patreon to see a little bit more of the stuff that I'm releasing on that side of things. And just stay connected. Let me know. Let's engage in conversation together. I'm trying to use Threads as one of those places to engage folks in actual conversation. But yeah, hit me up and let's talk about community and let's build together. All right. Until next time. Sa. Peace.